everyone, I'm Allie, and today we are going to be talking about citations and the tools that are useful to help students learn how to cite sources. Citing sources is very necessary to avoid plagiarism, to give credibility to the paper, and to give credit where credit is due. You'll sound a lot smarter if you use good sources. There are specific formats to cite sources. The first one is APA, which is the American Psychological Association. Second one is MLA, the Modern Language Association, and the Chicago Style. We mainly use the APA and MLA. It's kind of confusing right when you're starting to figure out how to format your sources in the specific ways that the various formats want you to. So there are helpful tools to help cite sources. The two that we found the most helpful are the Online Writing Lab from Purdue University and Noodle Tools. OWL Purdue is an in-depth guide to citing all types of sources in all three formats. It also, like we said, is a writing lab, so it helps with any aspect of writing a research paper. It has explanations for why you write down what you write. And like we said, it has formatting for the whole paper, and there are various samples as to what kind of sources you're doing and what they actually look like. This is an example of what a page on OWL Purdue looks like. This is in the APA format, and as you can see, it has the basic rules, so it tells you of the reference list. So it tells you just the basic formatting and like capitalizing and things. And as you can see on the left-hand side is all the different tabs that you can click. And so it has like in-text citations, general formatting, sample papers, and things like that. It's very easy to navigate, and it has a lot of information. OWL Purdue is also updated regularly, so any changes that the different formats make, OWL Purdue will have. Noodle Tools is more of a guided citation. The student goes in and fills out blanks for all different types of citations, and then the Noodle Tools generates the reference. It has explanations for the information that goes in the blanks, so if you don't know where you're supposed to get a piece of information or you don't know why you need it, it'll tell you why. The thing to watch out for is it may not exactly match OWL Purdue's format, so you need to look at both of them to make sure that what you do on Noodle Tools lines up with what the correct formatting is. This is an example of Noodle Tools. This is for a website. As you can see, it has like the name of the website, the publisher, so you type all that in. If when you click in a box, a different box will come up that says where it's the information that you need to know, and then you fill it all out and it will generate a source for you. That's my part now.
Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate what to do on OWL Purdue and what it shows you. So to follow along, you can just go into Google, type in OWL Purdue, and here you can go to the home page, or you also have APA and MLA right here for easy access. So we're going to start out by going to MLA, and if it loads. There we go. Alright, here, this is the home page for MLA. This home page gives you the basic ideas and formats for doing MLA sourcing and MLA papers. It's got your general guidelines and a little bit of a sample for your first page. And then here on your left, you have everything you would need to write an MLA paper, from your in-text citations to your citings to a sample paper and anything else you could need. And then a nice convenient function here is a search bar, where if you want to cite a book in MLA, you can just type in book MLA, search it, and it's going to bring you back out to Google. But your first thing here is how to do it with a book, so you can cite your page easy. And then If you come down here to the bottom to suggested resources and you go to APA, this brings you to the APA page, and this is your home page, and it'll give you your general things, ideas again, and your title page and your sample and abstract, which is included in the APA papers, and then just like MLA on the side here, it has your in-text citations. Your reference page is what you use for APA, so that's here, and it's also got a sample paper and so on, and it's also got the search bar. So let's say you're doing a website, just type in website APA, and your first thing, again, electronic sources, and so that's just kind of your basic two ways to use OWL Purdue to help you write your paper.
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm going to be showing you how to use Noodle Tools along with OWL Purdue to make sure that your sources are cited correctly. And first of all, when you get to the Noodle Tools, you can make your own account, or you can go to the Noodle Tools Express, and that's a really easy way to just do a couple fast citations, and they have the MLA, the APA, or the Chicago styles that you can use. And I'll just show you the MLA. And here you can do anything from a book to a journal to a website, just about anything that you want to do a cite on. And then you can create the citation. And then here you can type in the contributors to the source that you're using, and it could be the author, the editor, any of those sort of things. The title of the book, the publisher, the publication city, the year that it was published. If it has an edition, you can type that in. If it's from a series, you can type in the series name and the series number that it is a part of. And once you get all of that done, you just push submit, and it'll bring up a citation for you. And just to check that that is correct, you'll want to go to OWL Purdue, and this is the main homepage for OWL Purdue. And from here you can go to the MLA or the APA resources, and we'll just go to the MLA. And here it has the Works Cited page, and this is just the basic stuff that you'll need to know. And from here you can go in depth on the books, or how to do it for a periodical. And like Logan said, if there's anything that you don't know exactly how to do, you can always type it into the search bar up here. And this is the best way to do it, because the Noodle Tools will give you a source or a citation to go off of, but it's always best to check it with the OWL Purdue source as well.
Hi, I'm Kara, and I'm going to demonstrate an actual citation on Noodle Tools. So from here, I use Noodle Tools Express, which is free, and it's easy to do. Like Emily said, you either choose MLA, APA, or Chicago, which I'll do MLA. And then you choose your citation type, which I am going to do a speech by Abraham Lincoln, so then I will do an online source or a website. You create it. Up here at the top is a way to specify more on what exactly you are citing, which on my webpage is a speech. So I put that in, and it comes up with boxes that are more specific to what you are citing. Here you put the name of the website, which would be Abraham Lincoln Online. And then from here you do a publisher of the site, which these little boxes, which you can see up there, also tell you where to go to look for this information, or what it exactly is that you're putting in, which it says that it's by the copyright date, which you can find at the bottom. But on here it doesn't have a specific one stated, so then you don't have to fill it in. You fill in as much as you can from that source. The most recent access date would be what day you found your information, and so you'd fill that in, which we'll just use today. and then the e-publication, which is also the copyright date, which we found at the bottom. Fill that in. And then your URL, which you can copy and paste from your website. And then from here you specify more what kind of presentation it was, which was a speech, so we'll leave that. And then your presenter, which would be Abraham Lincoln. And then the title of the presentation or speech, which was the House Divided speech. And then down here it says that you do not have to fill in this, but if you want to be more specific you can, which I can show you where all that information is from. On here it talks about where it was located and what date it was, and then in here it talks about where it was presented exactly. So you'd fill that in, and then down here is the editor of the whole site, which you can also find on your website. At the bottom it says edited by Roy P. Basler. Usually type that in. And then it asks for edition, version, or revision, which if you can't find it on the source, then you don't have to fill it in. And then annotation is just a summary of the source, which as a teacher you can decide whether you want your students to put that in or not. And then you submit it, and there is your citation. And you can copy and paste this to a Word document, which you can copy and paste it, and there you go.
Hello, my name is John Dieter, and I'm going to be talking about the actual citation page and compare it between the Purdue Online Writing Lab and Noodle Tools. So, first, over here, right away on this right here, what Kara did, it needs to have a hanging indent, which sometimes Noodle Tools does wrong. A hanging indent is basically, you want this first line on the left aligned, but then every line after that should be indented over. The easiest way to do that is, if it's not right, hit enter and then hit tab over. Basically this is for organization purposes, so you'll be able to tell the difference between each source. Okay. Back over here. Okay. So this is APA by OWL. And some of them got screwed up. Right away you'll notice that it should have the hanging indent and the no links. The problem with Noodle Tools that you get a lot is when you have the links on it, I'll go back to this word, a lot of times it will actually blue. It will like make it the hyperlink so that when you click on it, it'll bring you to the site. It doesn't always do this, but it does happen a lot. So the quickest way to get rid of that is to, sometimes you have a break hyperlink button that you can press, or you get rid of all of them up to the first backslash. On all links, to make it official, you want everything up to this first backslash. The reason for that is because information changes on the website. So if you have this source and you try clicking on it, maybe a year later, it might be changed on the website, so it won't actually bring you to that link. Okay, and these are references by Noodle Tool. So let's see, if you notice right here, right away, you can switch it from on Noodle Tools. On Noodle Tools, you can instead of putting in the link, you can actually use the where you got it from. I got all these sources from a database, so you can right away just type in the SIRS issue researcher, so then you don't have to fumble around with the links going into hyperlinks. And this is the citation that the OWL Purdue gives you. So it's kind of just a basic formatting thing right here. It has your author, its last name, middle initial, or first name and middle initial, the year, month, day that you found it, the title of the article. If you use a newspaper or wherever the source is actually from, should be italicized. And then it has the retrieve from, where it's either the address, or if you use just the SIRS issue researcher or whatever database you find it from. I think that's all I got. I'll bring up the site map for you. Here we go.
Well, Logan and I are going to wrap up. And the first, I always do that. The first thing is, why should young people, young students in the grade schools, learn citations? And we can all tell you that when we started out in college English, our senior year, we were writing papers and we had very little experience with citations and the proper way to do them. We had never heard of APA, and we had used MLA once. And and it was very hard for us to learn how to do it right, and it took us a long time. We had a lot of mistakes, and so it's much easier to learn how to do it right from the beginning, so that it's in your brain and it's almost second nature to you to do it by the time you get to high school and in your first year of college, and all the way through.
Yeah, so just kind of to repeat what she said, it's just, if we start them younger, then when you get to your senior year, you're going to be fully prepared, or even just high school in general, you're going to be fully prepared to be able to write your papers properly and not have to spend a whole quarter or semester learning or relearning how to write these papers, because you're going to have these sites to help you, and you're going to already know how to do it prior to being thrown into it your senior year or whenever in high school.
Yeah, and these tools are really helpful. And like we briefly said earlier, OWL Purdue isn't just a citation site, it's also a whole online writing lab. This is the site map for the Purdue OWL, and it has everything that you could think of, like irregular verbs and everything. If you have a question about anything with writing, this site would help you out.
So if we start the students younger, looking at the site, they can look at the basic pages. So then when they get to going deeper into the site, they aren't going to be overwhelmed with this just ridiculous amount of information there is. Like, just this page goes on and on with everything they have. So if they start younger, being familiar with the site, then they're going to have a easier time getting along with the website. So.
Does anybody have any questions?
Did any of you guys check your works cited page, not just with the OWL, but with the handbook, the MLA handbook, or the APA handbook, the print source?
I didn't.
I know it was suggested to us.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to get one for college, and we'll do it then. Mrs. Spicer, did you say you had a question?
I did. You throw out the acronyms, MLA and APA. Could you refresh our memory what those mean?
Yes. MLA is the Modern Language Association, and APA is the American Psychological Association. Yep. Anybody else?
How long did it take you to get the feel of writing a good scholarly research paper?
3/4 of our senior year.
Yeah, it took a while, so it'd be helpful to start.
We write 3 papers this year. I don't think I was really comfortable until the last one on what exactly to do, and I was confident in what I was doing.
Yeah.
And we're still not perfect at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of repeat mistakes.
Yes.
So you're saying that it'd be very helpful, it would have been helpful to you if we had started kids not just cutting and pasting a URL to cite something, but to actually look for the specific information.
Right. That's
Definitely.
Noodle Tools would be a good thing to start students with at a younger age, because even though it's creating the source for you, they're training themselves on how to find the author's name, how to find all the information they want, and then the next step up would be doing it yourself, not letting a site create it for you. But
And also like we said before, the basic pages on OWL Purdue would be really helpful for younger kids. Just like even this part where it says author, year of publication, title of work, so they see the format, but they're also really looking at it and not having someone do it for them.
Yeah, the reference page of our research papers definitely turn out to be the hardest part, I think, because writing, we grew up, we wrote even from the younger age, we've been writing, but we've never had to really cite sources. So definitely we have to work on that more.
yeah,
Even
especially now that it's becoming more and more technology based in our schools and stuff. You're going to be going to websites instead of just going off the top of your head or from books. So you have to be able to be flexible and know how to cite different sources. And so, yeah.
I have a question concerning your works cited page under MLA or your reference page under APA. Well, let's say you didn't have OWL Purdue and you utilize EasyBib. Now that you understand what OWL Purdue is all about and how to set up your reference page works cited, what do you see some of the missteps with using something like EasyBib?
A couple of the mistakes that I've seen is that in the most recent update on APA, they want you to only capitalize the first word in your title of your publication or whatever you're looking at, and EasyBib will still capitalize every important word in that, which is something that's not up to date anymore. It gives you your full URL, and it's blue and it's underlined, it's a hyperlink, and now they only want it to be, not underlined, they want it to be black print, and they want it to end after the first slash. They don't want the whole entire URL, they want it only to the first slash after the .com or .org, so those are a couple of the mistakes that I've seen.
I think EasyBib doesn't necessarily stay updated with the formats. So that's a problem.
It might get you by early, but it's not the correct way, and it just makes things harder later.
Yeah, and it's not the way to start, because then you have to learn to undo all of that. So
There's a lot of minute details that you have to kind of look out for in your research papers, and Purdue OWL will really help you with that. But you use some other sites, and it's taking the easy way out. You don't really learn it, and you still might make mistakes, and you don't figure out what you did wrong from those mistakes.
Any more questions? Alrighty, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
thanks for listening.